If you feel your skill is better than your peers, however, you're not able to convert that skill into wins and rank up, this is the video for you. Also, make sure to share this with your friends if they're having the same hard stuck issue. Now, what today I'm going to teach is the fundamentals of Valorant, and it's not just how to play the game, but rather how to win the game, and how to make sure that any round that you are set to win, you don't toss away. Okay, cool. So we're going to talk about first the 2 advantages around, how to identify when you have an advantage or a disadvantage, and how to actually play out a round. So we're going to talk about the 2 main advantages that a team may have. That's either numbers advantage or objective advantage. At any point in the round, one of the teams is going to have either of these 2 objectives, if not both at the same time. So numbers advantage basically just means that how many your team has alive versus how many the other team has alive. Whichever team has more alive at the start of the round, or sorry, at any given point in the round, will be the one with that advantage and is possibly set to win that round off of that advantage. It's definitely the highest tier of advantage because at the end of the day, if you just trade out after you already have numbers advantage, you should trade out down to where it's a 2v1, and then that 2v1 should be secured with a nice either crossfire or double swing, and you'll win that round. Even if they get one, you should be able to win that round. Cool. The other advantage is the objective advantage, and that's something that starts with the defenders having, because if the timer runs out without the attackers doing anything, the defenders will win, but we'll actually switch to the attackers having the advantage if they get the spike down. And so we're going to go through a couple scenarios here, going over the majority of basic scenarios that will happen to see how you will play the rounds out differently, how to identify if you have that advantage, and how you should run through if you do have that advantage or disadvantage. Cool. So we're going to start with the attack here and kind of go through a pretty common scenario that I would say, and a common scenario that might get thrown pretty quickly. So let's say we're on the attack here and we've taken up towards B long. Now we've gone up. This is the enemy sky. This is the enemy cipher. This is our cipher, and this is our jet. So we've traded it down to a 3v3. However, we have the bomb down. So in this current scenario, we don't have numbers advantage. It's actually neutral. However, we do have the net advantage because we have that objective down. And so what you'll see a lot of times, and why rounds get thrown, is that people in this scenario might think that the round is so set to win that they'll overextend and play for kills here because they think they need to do so. But in fact, the team is actually already set to win the round, and all you need to do is play to this advantage and you'll win, which is the objective advantage. And so how should we play a scenario like this out? Well, we want to play for that objective to win the round. And so we can do this in multiple ways. We could either stall them out as long as possible and then back up, whether we're playing 1 in elbow to stall out and then 1 hookah, 1 long, or maybe 2 long, 1 hookah to stall out with molly and other util, maybe possibly play spam. As long as we're, denying them from defusing the bomb, whether we stall them out with all of the different util we have, or possibly doing, a double swing. If one's on the bomb, that means they can't shoot you, and so you're going to have that advantage right there. And otherwise, you should be set to win this round as long as you play smart and you don't give them the numbers advantage. Let's say someone like our Raze here swung, died, made it at 2v3. Well, shit, now they have the net advantage, which is numbers. And so all they need to do is trade each other out till it becomes a 2v1. They tap the spike, you have to swing. 2v1, maybe you get 1, but you're dead and you lose the round. Okay, so that's a very common scenario. Let's switch it to another scenario of 2. So this is another scenario we're going to look at here. This is going to be, now we're going to attack for A, and the players alive and dead, it's going to actually be, this Raze is supposed to be live, I just clicked her off, that's why. It's going to be a 4v3, so we're going to double into attack, we're going to do a 2-3 split, maybe our jet dies, but we get 2. Although we don't have the spike down, so we don't have objective advantage, we do have that numbers advantage. And so all we need to do is just play safe, play smart, get the bomb down when you can and make sure the site is secure. Otherwise, just play for trades. And then you will be set to win again. Even if you let them towards the bomb, if they tap and you double swing them, as long as they, you guys have decent aim and they don't just double tap both of you, you guys are set to win this round. How we do lose this though is that we see we have sight, we see we have numbers, and people will oftentimes over push. They think that they want to catch them off here, when in reality they don't need to at all. More importantly than getting kills in this stage of the round is playing your own life. And that's really important to think about, is that a lot of times you want to get kills, and sure, in this early round it is important to do so, but by the time you get to this point in a round where you already have pretty much site control, you have numbers advantage, you want to make sure your own life is more valuable than getting a kill. And this is why people say KD doesn't matter. Well, it does in a certain scenario where early round it does matter. You want to get that entry frag, but by the end of the round, making sure you're alive and having a low death count is more important than having a high kill count. That's how we don't throw away that round. Next, we're going to look at a scenario that is set to lose, actually, and how we could possibly convert this around. So, again, we're going to go for a B split here. However, instead of Skye getting 1 and getting traded, she gets 2 here. So now we have a couple of different options for us. We don't have numbers advantage, and we don't have the objective advantage. They have more enemies alive than we have players alive, and they're set to win without even doing anything, right? Bomb's not down. Let's assume this is not down. Cool. How do we win this round? Well, the easiest way is to do one of two things. You really want to somehow isolate an enemy alone, whether it's this Cypher towards elbow, maybe this Jet towards CT, maybe we TP and we try and fight this Raze alone. We really want to guarantee a scenario where we're fighting 2 players against 1, and the best scenario is that we kill them without dying, and so now we give away their numbers advantage, that way they don't have it anymore, and we could possibly even get down that secure plant. What we don't want to do is we don't want to either 1, give up, or 2, just think that we could run in against this now and fight when we're in low numbers and get crossfired, or let's say there's even a third one here, right? They're set to win because they have this objective advantage and even numbers advantage here. And so you want to just not play it dumb, but rather take your time, try and find a pick if you still have time to regain numbers advantage, and then if you see an opportunity for the objective to get planted, there would be a case. Now we're going to go into a 4th scenario, and this is the most, this is actually for the other side. So this is this is defense. So defense, a lot of times you're set to win the game just by doing nothing. So without doing anything, you're set to win this round because you have the objective and the timer to go out. So a lot of times defenders doing something is worse than doing nothing. But here's where you want to do something and make it count. In this scenario, Jet swing showers, gets the pick. Now it's a 5v4, and so not only do you have the objective advantage, but now you have the numbers advantage, and that's huge. Because even if nothing else happens in this round, if they get the spike down, sure, you lose the objective advantage, but you're still maintaining numbers, and you're set to trade each other out and win the round, as long as you play retake together and don't fan out and give picks. What Jet doesn't want to do, and which is very common, is look for more, especially by herself and without a tradable option. Because if she gets one, but then dies, let's say the Skye trades her out, you're in a worse spot than you were in, because you don't have numbers, and now it's harder to defend. So now your players have to fan out a bit more. It's easier for them to now get this objective down, and well, you don't have numbers, and then you just lost the objective advantage. So now you're set to lose that round. And so this is the main scenario that very often happens, is that if you somehow gain numbers advantage on defense, all you really want to gain is just 1 numbers advantage before the bomb goes down. So instead of a 5v5 before the bomb goes down, you want to make it a 5v4, whether you kill planner, whether you get an early pick. But you don't want to die. You don't want to make it a 4v4, because then you are set to have a big disadvantage. There's a chance of a lurk coming in because now you have holes in your defense. There's possible other issues that may arise where it's just they could flank you easier. They could set up better positions because you can't watch everything at once. They can get the bomb down easier. And so that's where most rounds on defense are thrown. It's the only scenario I have here. I mean, you could think of the same scenario a million ways. You get a pick, you don't want to look for more. What Jet should do here is she gets the pick, she backs up, maybe plays a secondary angle for information. So maybe if we want to make sure Skye doesn't walk in here, so Skye might want to travel in here. If Jet's holding an op, she could probably post up on the second angle and look for a pick. If she doesn't get it, she doesn't get it. But then she's able to back up and she'll be safe and start that 5v4 retake if bomb goes down. Whereas if instead we're swinging and get traded, we're in a bad spot. That's pretty much it for fundamentals. There's the two main objectives or advantages you always want to think about and how you'll play out those scenarios. And that's pretty much it. Only other scenario I can think of is if your teammate is like this Jet and loses the scenario. What you want to do as a defender is get a little bit more aggressive and try and make yourself have the numbers advantage again. That's all it is. Or take space. That way the positioning isn't an issue of the space that you lacked. But that's pretty much how you don't throw rounds away. I mean, it's more important on attack, but on defense too, you want to see how to not overstep. And that's the most common problem, is once people gain the advantage, they don't know how to maintain it and oftentimes throw it away. Hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm often live. If not, ask in the comments. But otherwise, have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.